The Xbox Games Showcase was this past Thursday. Let's get into it. Cue that new intro. So here at Tech Control, we do our best to stay unbiased and we give it to you straight. So let's do that. Exactly that. Xbox had their show and, a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are happy. And I understand why those people that are upset are so. The thing is, Xbox marketed this event as an Xbox Series X event. Even though it's technically called the Games Showcase, it was still supposed to showcase the power of next-gen hardware. Rightfully so, a lot of people are upset. The only real game that showed gameplay was Halo Infinite. We'll talk about that a little later, but no other game really showed off any gameplay. It was a lot of CGI trailers, which honestly I'm fine with. If these games are not ready to show, that's fine. Hold them off until you are. But we got 22 games or so, and only one of them really had gameplay. Let's get into some of the major ones that we saw at the event. Let's start with the big one, Halo Infinite. We also got to see gameplay trailer. I don't even know where to begin with this one. The entire stream was 1080 at 60 FPS. And even then, it didn't look all that great. I strongly suggest that everyone who watches this and who saw the showcase, go back and rewatch it at 4K with HDR. For those of you that can, whoever has a 4K TV or support HDR. But either way, it is a night and day difference. Believe me, night and day difference compared to what they showed us and what the 4K version actually looks like. Now, with that being said, that does not mean that Halo Infinite in 4K is perfect. It had its issues. It had certain pop-in issues. I don't know if I would call them issues, but we didn't expect that in a gameplay trailer. We've also seen the famous meme by now, image of the brute that is not very detailed. I mean, honestly, if you look at the exact clip where that came from, it's about 1.5 seconds, and within there somebody snapped a frame of where you see the brute. And to be fair, it doesn't look all that detailed, but it's a quick, maybe not even a second animation. Regardless, if they're going to show gameplay, we shouldn't be seeing these type of lack of detail. Had this been any other year, if next gen is already out, or even if this was for the Xbox One X and there was no next gen on the horizon at the moment, then it really wouldn't have been a problem. But because again, they were really trying to showcase, or at least that's how they marketed it to us, they were trying to showcase the power of the next gen hardware. And this gameplay trailer did not deliver on that. Part of it is because of the stream. Another part, if you see a video that Digital Foundry made, I'll see if I find it, if I can try and link it above, basically saying that the lighting for this game was a big reason why it didn't look so next gen. Now, to the game's defense, it was confirmed that this was running on a PC, not on an Xbox Series X. It's also been confirmed that this is an early build from over 4 months ago. And of course, day by day, week by week, improvements continuously kick in from the development team. And it's even already been confirmed that ray tracing will not be available at launch. I mean, ray tracing would put this game on a whole nother level. If you take into consideration, earlier I said the stream was 1080, now go watch it at 4K. It's night and day difference. It would be the same type of thing where if you watch it even at 4K and then you watch it at 4K with ray tracing on, again, night and day difference. Right off the back, we already know that it's an older build. They had some lighting issues according to Digital Foundry, and it's not the build that will be available at launch. And even at launch without ray tracing, I mean, again, that's a whole nother level of next gen that we've yet to see. Just to give an example of how important ray tracing is, here's an example of an image with ray tracing turned off. And now here's an image of an example with ray tracing turned on. You can pause it and go back and forth, and you can see the real big difference between the two. However, not everything was bad about this game. If you look at the actual gameplay, that was amazing. I mean, it had a mixture of recent Halo games and Halo 1 with a little bit of Halo 3. There were some callbacks to things that I know a lot of people are going to be very happy and would love. I mean, you saw things like the grapple hook supposed to be an item that is equipable, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I personally would use it too much, but I know a lot of fans of Doom Eternal and things like that. Titanfall 2 was another one that had it. I know a lot of people will love to use that thing. The point is, the gameplay was solid, and those graphical issues they'll fix from here to then. I'm really not worried. This game could look like an Xbox 360 graphics did back in the day, and it's still gonna sell and do very well. So I'm not worried about that. And again, they'll polish it from here to then, so the game will do great regardless. Let's move on. State of Decay 3. Now this one is interesting because before, Undead Labs was not owned by Microsoft, you know, that they purchased them a couple years ago, and since then they've upgraded their budget. Now they were considered a AAA studio, but they weren't really so much, I mean, budgetary and team wise. Now that Microsoft has bought them and they have their financial backing, they definitely have been upgraded to a AAA studio. They are able to get more employees in now. If you see the work that they've done with the Juggernaut edition, this was after Microsoft purchased them, they upgraded State of Decay 2 big time, fixed all the bugs, added 4K graphics. It looks amazing. So I'm expecting nothing less for State of Decay 3. We saw Forza Motorsport. Now this one did not have a number associated to it. Some people are speculating that this is going to become a games as a service type of game now, where it's not a yearly release, but instead it's a continuous update that will improve the game, maybe add more cars, add more maps, whatever the case is. We saw the in-engine gameplay and it was amazing. It was beautiful. I can't wait for this game. Fable. Finally, we've heard so much rumors about this game. We covered in our second podcast. I mean, we were pretty on the nose with a lot of these games. On our second podcast, I'll link it above here. If you go back and listen, we covered that Playground Games was working on a Fable next-gen version. And I'm glad to see that this is a reboot and not necessarily a continuation of Fable 4, because the last Fable that we saw, Fable 3, was on the 360. So this is, so far, I mean, again, I know we've seen a small, tiny trailer, but Fable is a big name in the gaming industry, and I know a lot of people are very happy. Up next, we have Avowed. Avowed, this trailer looks like it could be the next Skyrim or something in that type of genre or that type of game. It looked amazing. A lot of people are already super excited, and all we've seen is a small trailer. So for this, I'm excited to see more. I'm gonna run down the list a little quicker. We have As Dusk Falls, game looked pretty good. We have Everwild. I'm excited for this one. Again, check out our podcast. We didn't know much about it at the time. Now we saw some more of the trailer. We still want to see more. We're excited about this one. Stalker 2. This was one that nobody was expecting. Warhammer 40,000. Another big name. The Medium. We finally got a little bit of gameplay, or a better trailer anyway, because the last one left everything up in the air. Now this one looks really exciting because I'm not sure if it's a dual alternate reality or is it some type of time travel similar to how Hellblade was. I really don't know. This game it scares the crap out of me, and I'm so excited to play it. We saw more of Tell Me Why with the two twins and their backstory, or at least that's what we're gonna play and figure out what their backstory is. That one looks very interesting. Grounded. Now Grounded was hilarious with that intro. They were very self-aware of what type of game they are. They're not going for game of the year. They're just a group of like 8 developers, and they just want to put together a passion project, and it's really for you and I and the developers and all of us to just enjoy and have fun. The joke that they made about Cyberpunk, that was really funny. I was cracking up. We saw Psychonauts 2. The graphics on that one looks pretty good, especially compared to what it used to be, and also considering the last time we saw it. So I know a lot of people are excited for this one as well. There's also Tetris Effect. I mean, what can I say? It's one of, if not the most popular game in the world, technically. Tetris really seems perfect more for like an xCloud type of game where you can play it on the go. Bring it on, sure. We got a game called The Gunk. This one kind of looks like Luigi's Mansion, or whichever one Luigi, he's sucking up all the ghosts. In this one, he's sucking up all the gunk. It looks good. It should be like a pretty cool 3D platformer. Phantasy Star Online 2, I swear in my head, I had a completely image of what this game was until I saw this event. And now I kind of want to play this game. So I'm personally going to hold off until next gen so that I can play this new version, or I don't know if it's a DLC or whatever it is, but I'm going to hold off so I can play it. It looks really interesting. CrossfireX. Now this one is already out in Japan. I think it's exclusive to PC right now, but for the first time it's coming to console. But the version that's coming to console is not the same one that's on PC. It's actually an updated version, 4K, the whole nine. This one looked really good, to be honest, or at least that's my opinion anyway. So I'm excited for that one. I'm definitely going to check that one out when it drops. And the last one that I'm going to talk about is Destiny 2. Destiny 2, we know, moved to a free-to-play style service. It's now a games as a service type of game, which is fine. It's great. Moving forward, all the DLCs, including this one that they announced at the show, is going to be on Game Pass, and that's awesome. So no longer will you have to pay for DLCs if you're on Game Pass, and you can play with your friends. That's awesome with Destiny. It's also interesting to see that Bungie is now working with Microsoft again to work this deal out. Again, awesome for Xbox, awesome for Bungie, and even better for Game Pass. They showed off more games again. I'm only covering some of the major ones. So what are my thoughts on the whole event? To be honest, I thought it was a good event. They opened strong with Halo Infinite gameplay. Gameplay was amazing again. They showed off a lot of their games, and honestly, 9 out of the 15 studios that they own showed up. That means that we still have another 6 studios that we still don't know what they're working on. Of course, we have an idea more or less, but it's awesome to see all the games that showed up, and yet there's still more to come. I am super excited to see what the initiative is working on. We have a video coming up specifically on that topic. It was in our podcast that we kind of cut out, so you didn't get to hear that, but we'll put it on a separate video anyway. In the end, they did a great job showing off their games. Not so much of a great job showing off the next gen hardware. So this really was a Game Pass event, to be honest. Game Pass, honestly, it more than makes up for the L that the Series X took, and that's why this event is very successful. Overall, it was still a pretty solid show. And there's another one most likely coming in August, early August, according to the rumors. That one's supposed to showcase some more of the hardware and maybe even more games there. We're still not sure. Maybe they'll get rid of Xbox Live. I made a video covering this very topic. I'll link it up above for you guys to see. Again, I strongly encourage that everybody goes back and watches the 4K stream. Night and day difference. We have a lot of topics to cover, a lot of upcoming videos, so stay tuned for more. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment below. I'll leave you with the question of the video. What did you think of the Xbox event? I want to know in the comments below.